Hello beautiful unicorns and welcome back to my channel and this video where I am going to talk about my favorite colorful eyeshadow palettes. This has been a video that's been so requested, and since I wanted to record this video so much and I've been thinking about it a lot, like palettes I like, palettes I think are okay, palettes I think are good but not for beginners, some palettes I don't like that much. I also asked Makeupstruggles if she wanted to do this video with me, so I am doing this video in collaboration with her, which is so amazing because I think she's fabulous. And one of the reasons that I wanted to collab with her on this idea is that I know that we are of different opinions when it comes to certain palettes, so it's really exciting for me to be able to do this video in collaboration with her. You need to check her channel out. It's like nectar for the soul. It's so amazing. She does curse a lot though, so if you don't like that, maybe you won't like her channel, but honestly, she's so amusing, she's so talented, her views on makeup are so refreshing. I will leave both her video and her channel down below, so don't forget to check her out. She's so good. So this video is going to be about me talking about some of my favorite really colorful eyeshadow palettes, and I'm going to talk about them in the sense of good for beginners, good for more advanced users and why, and also I'm going to talk about two palettes that I'm not like hating them, but I'm not really loving them either, so I might just, maybe you should just stay clear unless, maybe you're of a different opinion than me, and just, by all means, go right ahead. Obviously a video like this would not be complete without me mentioning Juvia's place. I really love Juvia's place. I think that this one, the Zulu palette, is my absolute favorite palette from Juvia's place. And I know that Makeupstruggles doesn't really like this palette, and that only shows that two people can think so differently about a palette, because I love this palette. I think it's so amazing. I will leave my review of it up here. I also have a bunch of looks that I've done with this palette. I think it's so good. The only color that I'm not too crazy about is this green here. I also think that this brown is not the best brown that Juvias has made, but to be honest, they could pick this brown out of this palette and not use it just as much. These colors are so good. I've used them so much and I feel myself being drawn to this palette. I feel myself being drawn to this palette when I'm just sitting down, like what I want to do today. I'm not filming, I'm just doing my makeup. I feel that this palette is great for beginners that love warm neutrals and that feel like they want to bring in some colors with the warm neutrals, because these two will work so good with warm neutrals just to brighten up the look, and also this one will work so good with those warm browns and those red tones to make it even more intense. Same with this one together with those warm neutrals will make it pop so much, and these shimmery ones would be so nice on the lid if you're a beginner and just want to dip your toes into some colorful looks. I would say it's the same with this Magic palette. I don't think that this is as good as the Zulu palette, but this has more shades to choose from. All the shimmery shades here are so nice, and also these three shades here are so good if you like warm neutrals but just want to make them pop even more. So, and these two colors are not as deep as they look in the pan. I have done several looks with this palette and I have a tutorial, I think, with this blue one here together with this one, and you will see in the tutorial that the blue one is much lighter on the skin, and that might make it more user-friendly for you, to be honest. The only two colors that I'm not crazy about is these two here in the middle. I don't think this one is really a stand-out color. It doesn't really stand out, that's what I want to say. It is like a satin dark teal that doesn't really give me that much. And this one is so much more vibrant and fun than this one. These are kind of similar. This is more like a dulled down version of the silver. I'm not really feeling it. But other than that, I think this palette is amazing. And if you want to get into color and want to get something where you have a lot of options altogether, that one is great. I will say though that out of the Magic palette and the Masquerade palette, I do prefer the Masquerade palette. This one is good because this could be your beginner palette with having both the warm neutrals and the colorful shades. The only thing that I think that this palette is lacking is that it only really has one colorful matte, and that is this Sobo. That one is amazing, but yeah, they have come a little further on the way after this palette to bringing out some colorful matte shades, and I think they're bringing out even more. This is a great palette though, so if you want to start somewhere with colorful palettes, I do recommend the palettes from Juvia's place, and these three I think are the best palettes, especially if you take into consideration that you want to get colorful palettes. This look is actually made with another Juvia's palette, and I made this with the Nubian 2 palette. It looks like this. Try not to drop it. I used the green and the blue and some of the other ones. I did film this look, and it is coming up on my channel. Just need to try the palette a bit more. So let's talk about another palette that I really like. I did a look with this palette as well, and I've been using it a bit since. I think this is a really nice palette. This is from Makeup Academy. This is really easy to find if you're in Europe. I don't think it's that easy to find if you're in America, but I do know that you can find it in America. I will leave a video up here where I try this palette. I think this is a great palette. It is not that expensive, and it's really big, and if you want to have a beginner palette and just try a bunch of different shades which are both shimmery, metallic and mattes, I think this one is nice. The only thing I think that this one is missing is that it doesn't have any reds, but maybe you already have some reds if you have some warm neutral palettes and you have some reds, but that one is missing reds for me to be a complete palette. But you know, I don't really even believe in complete palettes, so what am I talking about? Another palette that could be really good if you are on a budget and you just want to get a really nice colorful palette. Let's see if I can get this open. Open sesame. Is this Morphe 12P. This one has a bunch of matte colorful shades. This is a really nice palette. I think I did some kind of video on this, and maybe even a look. You'll have to search on my channel for Morphe 12P if you want to find some old videos on this. But this is a nice palette. I really like this one. And it's so affordable. I wish Morphe would make more of these smaller palettes, because this has 12 shades. This is a good palette if you want to get more matte colorful shades in your collection and you feel like you don't have any. This is a good beginner palette, because this could be so easily, because when it comes to colorful shadows, most of us have a bunch of shimmery ones, or we have the orange and the yellow and the red, because those come in every palette nowadays. But this one has some of the other matte colorful ones, so this could be a good addition for you if you want to start doing more colorful looks, but you don't want to like get a really expensive one and you want to get something like a little of everything. So I do recommend this one. I think it's pretty okay, and I mean, Morphe isn't the best quality out there, but if you just want to get something to try out with, I do like this, and I prefer the smaller palettes over the big ones. Next one I want to talk about is this Huda Beauty Electric Obsessions palette. It is just a small palette that looks like this. I have only tried this palette twice so far. I'm just throwing that out there. I've only tried this palette twice, so I can't give you a full and honest review. I haven't reviewed this on my channel yet, but so far I really like this. And this is the same as the other palette I just talked about, although this is more expensive, that this gives you a variety of shades to add to your collection if you just want to dip your toes and see if color is something for you. You get pinks, you get a bright coral, then a bright yellow and a bright red, and you get this like tealy shade that you could put on your lower lash line if you're not super into color and just want to try a bit, and then 3 really nice shimmers to add to your look if you like having warm neutrals or browns or whatever in your crease and you just want to have a pop of color on your lid. Any of these 3 colors could be really nice. So far I'm really liking the formula of this one, but this is not my final review of it. I'm going to do a separate video on this one, but I do think that it's worth buying. I mean, a lot of people now have tried the small Huda Beauty palettes. I only bought the colorful one because I don't need more mauves, oranges or browns, so I didn't buy the other ones, but they say that they like those as well, so maybe they're good too. But I do like this bright one if you want to dip your toes into color and just try a bit. Next I want to talk about 4 palettes that I really enjoy, but I don't recommend these as being your first colorful palette. So I do recommend them, but I don't think that if you only own brown eyeshadow palettes and you want to get into color, I don't think I would recommend you to buy any of these first. I hope you understand what I mean, and I will explain a bit more. So I am calling these the favorite colorful eyeshadow palettes, like the intermediate if you are a bit more advanced or if you're already into colorful shadows. This one is super pretty. This one has some neutrals as well though, but I would say that this palette if you are not used to working with color, you might not know what to do with this palette, and it'd be a shame if you bought this as your first colorful eyeshadow palette and felt like color wasn't for you because you didn't know what to do with it. This palette could be really nice though to just use the neutral colors, but if you are looking for a colorful eyeshadow palette and you bought this one as a thought of this being your only addition as colorful eyeshadow palettes, I don't think you'd be happy with it. I really like this though. I did 3 looks with this palette. I really love it, and I will leave that up here. I'm also planning on doing a look with this one matched with the Colourpop My Little Pony palette. I thought like 2 pony palettes, 1 look, that's gonna be awesome. But this pink is so good. This red is so good. I love this purple. This pink is so nice. I really like this yellow. These greens are so pretty. But I do understand that if you're new to color, maybe you wouldn't like this palette, and I'd hate for me to recommend something to you and you'd feel like you wouldn't know what to do with it. So I really like it, but maybe it wouldn't be your first palette. And it's the same with this one. The thing is that this is really easy to work with. But for most people, if you want to do a colorful look, you might need some more colorful shadows to this one. And I'm only saying this because these are pastel colors, at least most of them. I did 3 looks with this palette. If I have space to leave that up here as well, I will, because I really love this palette and I really like the formula of these eyeshadows. They are really nice, and for being pastels, they show up so nice. I use this palette in conjunction with the palette I'm going to show you next, and together those are amazing. But on its own, if this would be the only colorful palette you would buy, maybe you would feel like you wouldn't really know what to do with it, because most of these colors are not bright enough to be able to brighten up a neutral look. Like these blues are amazing on the lid if you have a bright blue crease, but if you don't have any other bright blues, maybe you wouldn't know what to do with this palette, and I would think that that would be a shame. I really love this palette, but I think that this palette is more like if you already are into colors and just want to take it one step further, you're gonna love this palette, I'm sure of it. I love this palette, and I love having this palette in conjunction with this palette I'm going to show you now. This is the Certifye, wait, I'm going to take out this plastic. This is the Certifye Tropical Wonders palette. I mean, look at this palette. This palette is such a lovely sight to the eyes, and this one together with the Creme de Couture, I got some amazing looks, because then I had the brights and I had the pastels. They worked great together. I don't remember the price of this one. Maybe I need to check on that, but I'm gonna check on that and come back to that. But this palette, the only reason I'm saying that this isn't like beginner friendly is because what you see in the pan is not necessarily always what you're gonna get on your eyes, and maybe if you're not used to working with colors, that might make you frustrated. But for me, I enjoyed this palette so much. I enjoyed like playing with this palette before my review. I do have a video on this palette up. I hope I have space to put that up here as well. If I don't, I will just leave the other ones down below. It is a really nice palette, and not all the shades are amazing, and that's why I'm saying that this is not for beginners, because if you are a beginner and you get this one and you think that all your colorful needs are going to be sorted, maybe you will think that it's wrong with, because you're not making some of these color work. It is not you, it's the palette. That's why I think that this palette would be amazing for somebody who's already into color, and give them something else to play with, something to add, because I'm so happy I own this palette. But I wouldn't recommend this being the only colorful palette to get. Get this palette if you're already into color. I'm sure you'll enjoy it a lot. So I went and checked, and this palette is £30, which would be like, I don't know, $35 maybe. So it's not like a super affordable palette, but you do get a lot of shades, and most of them are really nice. So I like this palette, but I wouldn't recommend it as your like first buy. Last palette I want to talk about when it comes to like intermediate palettes for people who are already into colors. There's this Suva Beauty Cupcakes and Monster palette. I have a really old video about this. I think I might even have 2. I don't even know. If you search for this palette on my channel, I'm so sure you'll find something. This palette has really nice pigmentation. I really like Suva Beauty, But if you're not already into color, you might not know what to do with these shades, because they are very bright, they're very fluorescent, and they don't necessarily go with each other. This palette is definitely not what people call a standalone palette, even though I've made looks with only this palette, but I feel like you would love this palette as an addition to your already colorful shades if you already love color. But I don't think that if you're not into colors and you get this palette that you would be totally into color all of a sudden. I hope you understand what I mean. I really like this palette. I'm happy I have it. I actually pulled this out in my makeup collection video because I needed to use it more. It's so nice. This shade, it is called Clover or something, Clover Club. So good, it's so nice, I love it so much. But yeah, this is a nice palette. Also, this is Suva Beauty, is an indie brand, and I really like their shades, but it's not super affordable, so that could also be a reason for me not saying that this should be like your first palette, because I don't think it should be. Now let's talk about two palettes that I've tried that are really colorful that I kind of don't recommend, and one of them is actually this one, and you might be surprised, but I have tried this palette and I think it's up on my channel now. I'm not gonna have space for that. I will just leave it down here. Where I tried this palette. I talked a bit in that video on why I don't feel like this palette is amazing. And that is, there are some definite hits and some definite misses in this palette. This purple might as well just have been clay. You're not gonna get any pigment out of that purple. It's horrid. And the thing is that 1, 2, 3, 4 shades are mattes with micro shimmer in them, as far as I can see, or like just really dull shimmers. I don't get the texture of this palette. I don't get the texture of this palette, and some colors are just like in between colors, or like dull, like these two and this one. These three colors are not fun. This color is nice, but I wish that it's like an in-between color. I'm not saying I love this shade, but it has a lot of micro shimmer in it. I don't want that. Love this shade, a lot of micro shimmer in it. I don't like that. Same with this one, the red one. It is like a dull red with gold glitter in it. Nobody likes matte with shimmer in them. Nobody. Why are the brands still making those shades? Nobody likes those shades. Nobody wants them. Who likes those shades? Why are they still being made? I don't get it. I think that they should have switched some of these shades out for shimmers. I think they should have switched some of these shades out for more bright ones or more light ones. Right now, everything is in mid-tone. There's nothing light and there's nothing dark. And I feel like, I think this is a fun palette. This is inexpensive. I mean, if you get it, just know that not every shade is good, and maybe you might need to use this like and bring in more colorful shades if you want to have a colorful look, because I don't know, I'm not hating it, but I still think that there is so many better colorful palettes out there. It's just like, and it's $18, I think. I mean, that's not a lot, but still, I don't know, I'm not sold on it. And the next palette I want to talk about is this. It's kind of an older Makeup Revolution palette, and this is called, I hate opening these. Okay. It is called, let's get this plastic out. It's called Mermaids Forever. This quality is horrible. Don't get this palette. These are horrible. These are horrible. If you think that you're gonna get a super fun, colorful palette to do with a lot of colorful looks, you're wrong. That's not what you're getting. Don't get this palette, it's not good. So yeah, that was everything. That was all the palettes I had to talk about. Do you feel like I missed some palettes? Did I miss any of your favorites? Is there a palette out there that I need to try? Let me know. Also, don't forget to check out Makeupstruggles. I left her down below, although I'm sure all of you are already subscribed to her because she's so awesome. And that was it. Oh, don't forget to subscribe to me. The button is down below. I'd love to have you. I do upload videos every week. And now I'm gonna go and cook some dinner. Bye!